Welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about how to beat I Wanna Be the Guy. Now, before we get into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe if you like more tutorials and content on Geometry Dash. And today, we're going to be diving into how to beat I Wanna Be the Guy. Now, some quick tips. It has about 4 rooms. The first one's the hardest, the third one is the easiest, and the fourth one will be a good test. It took me about 2 hours and 4 minutes to beat, and about 5,000 attempts, but you die a lot on the beginning of this level. So, I'm going to go through practice to take step by step on how to beat most of the parts of the level. So on the first, you will spend almost half of your playing time on the first part of this level. This level becomes very difficult, and you might want to give up on the very first part of the level, but it is contrary that you stay persistent, because almost anyone can really beat this with enough strength and time. Even if this is your first insane demon ever, after beating a medium demon or even an easy demon of platformer, there's most likely a chance you'll still be able to strive if you have enough knowledge on geometry dash mechanics in general, because you move about the same in normal mode. And it's not very slidey as it used to be. See, if I land on a surface, it stops right away. So if you have a good general enough idea of the mechanics, you should be able to get past it. So let's start out. We have these simple spikes. There's nothing really I can show you how to help here. You're just going to have to fight your way through these. It will be frustrating, and the best advice I can give you is to learn to go just a tad bit into the spike, go up, and then go over. Don't go over while you're going up, or disaster will strike, as you'll get into a bad habit, and you will always die. Don't be afraid to hit your head on the roof if needed, but don't always, because it sometimes can veer you off course. Once you get past the first 3 jumps, or 4 jumps, I would say, if you count the very first one as a real jump, then it becomes a very easy part, but sometimes you die to a lot more than you expect it to do. And that's natural. So for instance, this one's right here. You want to do a running at it. So run and jump. Like that. And stop when you land over here. If you take time to stop and go over, you'll most likely hit your head on the roof, which will halt your movement and make you do that. Now you can do it this way, like that, but it takes a lot more skill to do it. So just do a running and you'll land there. Pretty wide open space here with a 1 block makes it a little easier to land when you finally get past that. And once you get past this part, you have an easy jump here and an even easier jump there. Moving on from this spot, you still do not have a checkpoint, so you most likely will get here, be very thrilled you got here, and then die right after this, right on this next jump. This next jump, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can land on the edge like that, or you can land in the middle, right there, and then do a second jump. I think the middle one is harder because you have to do 2 steps, but it's also not that hard. They're both not that hard of jumps. The first one's a little difficult to get used to, but the next one's just a really simple tap that you'll learn. Doing it the other way is a little bit more risky, but it also helps teach you for some of the more lungier bits of the game, so that will definitely help you out. This next one, just get into the spike as close as possible and do a leap over, and most likely you'll land without hitting the other spike. Just try to not go too far over so you don't hit these next set. Do that again. Don't go too high up. Kind of just go like a big leap over of moving and jumping at the same time. And once you land here, this is really easy, yet it can stump you still, even though it's easy. So some people like to go like this, land here, and then reach. But it does happen. I gotta get a checkpoint back. It does happen where it can be fatal, and it's a little difficult to get on the side, but it's not the hardest way. That's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it, which is a little bit more risky, and you still don't have a checkpoint yet, in normal mode, is you can just jump all the way over here and land. Once you land here, you've done it, because you just launch up as far as that way, and you'll hit the checkpoint no matter what. As long as you hold to the right and up as much as possible, you will pass this part. Once you get past that first section, that is where the game gets easier on this level. And just in general, you'll find yourself getting past these levels way easier. Now, this next part is where it starts to get easier, but it's a little more dynamic. There's a lot more different jumps and moves. You'll have to get used to every one of them because it's less of just jumping in between spikes and more now technical and less technical issues and more variation in inputs. So first you're just going to hold up all the way until you get over the spike and then just a little over at the top. Jump up here with a simple tap and over and then land on the edge first. Don't try to jump over the spike like all the way over there. You're not going to make it. Instead, just hop on the edge and hop over like that. It'll take a little bit of getting used to, but it's not that hard. Now come in from the back and run up and just jump in the middle. Try to land safely. There's not really much tips for that one. You just gotta wing it and go for it. Now move over and go in. It's something you have to learn as well. And to this one, just slide over as far as you can. You'll just ride off. You don't have to jump in between it. Then you have another standard jump here. Pretty simple. Once you cleared the bottom section, you should be able to get to that pretty simply. This one has a really tight gap between the two spikes at the end. So just try to land it like you did these jumps at the bottom here. But it can be a little more tricky than the ones at the bottom. Now here you're just going to try to land on the edge of the spike. It can be more tricky since it's up and then landing, and you can still die from what's behind you. You gotta kind of push against this wall and then land on top, like that. Once you get here, you have to go up, click this red orb. Now I would recommend spamming the orb a few times before you going. Measure it out. Don't be hitting the roof before you go forward, but don't be too low either. Go right in between the spikes and throw yourself forward. Now you want to be careful not to go too far forward, so you don't do what I just did there. Instead, you immediately stop pushing over once you get in the right spot. Then you'll just slowly glide down. That was the hardest room. From here on out, you will go a lot faster, especially learning this skill, especially if this is a harder demon. Your skill has already increased by 10,000 if you did this, and if you did that in normal mode. Now we're on to our third checkpoint of the game, and this one is where things, like I said, decrease in difficulty by a bunch. You'll get through this room very quick time. First, there's this big, long leaping jump. I would not suggest to do it any other way, but just a leap of faith. You'll get past it, and it's the first jump. So if you die a lot here, it's fine. You'll get used to it. Then another leap of faith out of there. You have a nice landing pad here, and there's not a lot of issues trying to get out of there, so you'll be perfectly fine. Here, just jump on these green orbs, or these pink orbs, and fall on these other edges. It's really not that difficult. Just kind of time them and learn their timing. It's nothing I can exactly explain on their own. It's pretty simple jump orb mechanics, timings, but in platformer. Don't try to figure out some technique. Just learn them and get them done. That's about what they are, but they're not that hard. Once you get used to them, you'll really see no trouble with them. Once you land on that top one up here, and just leap over, try not to go too far, but most likely you'll make it to the checkpoint, and that is where things get easy again. We have another tricky jump here, but it's not that bad. You just mostly hit your head on the roof, that helps you stop. Do a small little leap, another small leap, a big leap, and try to land on the edge of the spike. Since the spike on the platform is small, it shouldn't take you more than a handful of tries to make it on the leap. Once you do, you have to be very careful from there, because you don't want to have to restart. So get as close to these double spikes as you can, and leap. Some suggest landing on the outside here, and that can drastically help your chances, but you do have to make 2 jumps that way, which also increase the amount of chances you can die. While making this jump easier, it still increases the amount of chances you can die, restarting you back. But since the checkpoint isn't that long, it shouldn't be that much of a deal to you. Now once we're up here, you just run and jump. That's all this one is. You run up and jump. You're gonna get it eventually. You're gonna learn the timing. Don't. All I have to say for you that one is don't hold. Same with this one. Don't hold too long. This level is all about trial and error. Just don't hold too long on these. Just a bigger leap. And then now to get down into this, just do a little tap. A little tap and go over. Now we're on to the third room. This third room is really not that difficult. You'll learn it, and it's short as well. Until we get to the second part of the room, at least, it's fairly short. Just go in between these spikes. Pretty easy jumps, actually, compared to what you saw in the first level. This is really easy jumps. Nothing much going on here. You might start to trip up on them after getting past this part. Then you'll start to trip on these, because whenever you get past a part, when you come back to the last part before, it might get a little tricky. This one, can't really teach you this one. Just kind of leap in. And then you'll climb up the stairs, get consistent with the stairs, and then leap and successfully make it. Then do a little hop there. A little simple hop there. Fall for that one. Don't even jump. Jump into that. Fall. Careful not to fall too far, you'll do what I just did. And then once you get to this part, just land on the edge here. Be careful. Do one leap, a tiny jump, and you're at the next checkpoint. Land on the edge here. This checkpoint is going to be one of the most frustrating ones, but it's still easy, but it is frustrating. The jumps aren't hard, but here's the thing. It's kind of like a little small jumping section. You just go through here. You'll get really consistent at this when you have to do it over and over again. Once you get here, though, this is the Tower of Doom. You have to land on each of the little edges of these spikes and go up as you... And stay stable as you go up. Either you'll go too far in and die to the spike, or you won't go far enough and you'll hit the wall and fall to the bottom. Falling to the bottom is more frustrating than dying, in my opinion. But you can be a little safer. If you do happen to fall from a higher distance, try to move yourself into another crack, but most likely you'll just not be able to salvage it. It'll take a few tries. But because the skill needed is not that high, after butting your head against the wall for about 10 or 20 minutes, you should definitely be able to get it done. And once you reach something like here, all you have to do is jump up onto this crack here. It'll take a little bit. It is pretty hard to do that, and just leap over. Be careful not to go too far or too short, as you will die. Now, once we hit this checkpoint here, we are on the second to last room. This room is not hard at all. As you see here, we're going to hit here and go up through this little crack. You can land on the edge of this spike, and hop over, and then fall. And then from there, you do one big leap, two big leap, and then not a three big leap. You do one here and then one here. That's the easiest one. Now, once you reach here, you're probably going to be stressed because you just passed all those leaps. It will take a little bit of time to get used to all three of those leaps. And you gotta use this pink orb, which can be a little frustrating. Just tap, 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 and then move over. You just have to be patient and give it time to reallocate yourself. Right now. Now you're going to leap all the way over to land on this edge and land. Jump through this spike, jump on, be patient, jump over. Now once you get to here, this is going to be a really hard jump. You just go into the spike as far as you can and then jump up and over. Not too high, not too light, just get used to it. That is a hard jump, but it's right next to the checkpoint, so it's not that big of a deal. It's not like it's at the end of the checkpoint. Now here you're just going to jump on one of the ledges here, and jump all the way over. Once you get to this part's so easy. You basically just jump on the edge here, jump over it like it's one big spike. jump over this small one, jump in between those ones, which can be a little difficult, but once you do it a few times, it won't take you more than a minute, most likely. After all you've been through, this is not the hardest part. This is one of the easiest stages. It might take you like 20 minutes, tops. Once you get to here, don't be stressed, just fall off. Now here comes where it starts to get a little hard again. I won't lie to you, it does peak up in difficulty here, but nowhere. You will not struggle nowhere near as much as you did on the first one. The first one was your most painful experience because it probably most likely took you a long time if you were a newer player at platformer levels, especially technical platformer levels. Because this level is very technical with its jumps, not compared to other levels, but still fairly technical with its jump. Alright, you're gonna land it over here, right in between here. You can either choose to do a leap of faith here or land on the edge. I personally like landing on the edge, even though it does create a higher chance of dying. Just a lot of jumps until the next checkpoint, so it really doesn't matter that much. And it makes it more of a standard jump instead of a leap, which leaps are most likely harder than standard jumps. Here you're just actually gonna have to leap out of here no other way. You can jump in here, but you're still gonna have to leap, so it's just a leap with an extra step, which really just doesn't do anything for you. Just do a leap. You're gonna slip as close as you can into here, or you can't die when you're going up. You're only on the edge here, and jump over. So, on the edge, jump over. Be careful because you're still on the pink orb. So estimate your jump to be a little higher than normal. Land on this pillar here and go just a jump in. Don't go too far. And you've made it to the checkpoint. Here's the final checkpoint of the round. Of the level, sorry. This is where things get difficult. It's more of what you saw in the first round, but you're ready for this. You've already been through all this chaos, and you're fully prepared for the final test of bringing back what you started with. It's like a cycle of your nightmares, but this time you've already fought and you're more prepared. This is the same enemy you fought before. Get close to here, leap over with a small one, leap over with a normal one, a standard one. Here we go to a tiny one, just leap over with a little hop, and get as close as you can. Don't leap too high up. It's not really a full leap. It's more like a time jump, a time sprint jump. Here you can just hop it there. It's really simple. Edge of the spike. Okay, the spike, go over. Now it is possible to go in the middle and then jump over, which does add an extra step and an extra chance to die, but it is fairly easy to do that, and I think it's easier than going the other way. Here you just land on the edge, go up, it's not that hard. Go as close as you can to the spike in here, and go one big leap up and just a tad bit over. The section is not that crazy. Fall into here, there's a lot of free room, and then you're almost on, this is the last hard jump, go up, and you fall into the finish. That is, I want to be the guy. Do one practice round. After that, just brute force your way through it. You will brute force the way through the checkpoint. Just give it shot after shot after shot, and eventually you will push your way to the finish line. Platforms like these don't need much practice. I'll give you a bunch of tips on certain ways to go through, and just go through with one practice run to make sure you got everything down. But it's still essential just to keep yourself pushing forward with this level, because you will beat it. It is not that difficult a level, even though it may seem that way. It's just doing the same thing over and over and over again until you finally pass it. I did want to point out that there is 4,200 particles, which is 420 meme. I don't think anyone noticed that yet, because no one actually has these settings on but me. And that'll be it for the video today. I'm glad you tuned in. It has been a long one, but a fun one, and I hope to see you back again.